Welcome to Everything You Need to Know About the Ascension of Humanity, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern science and spiritual evolution gets real. I'm Heather, an energy healer, channel, and spiritual coach with Divine Ascension Company. Each week, we're diving deep into the mysteries of human consciousness, spiritual awakening, and the profound transformation happening within us and around us. But here's the thing. We're not doing this with our heads in the clouds. We're bringing neuroscience, psychology, quantum physics, and cutting-edge research to the table alongside meditation, energy work, and timeless spiritual teachings. Because the truth is, the ascension of humanity isn't some far-off cosmic event. It's happening right now in the choices we make, the awareness we cultivate, and the healing we do within ourselves. Whether you're curious about how mindfulness literally rewires your brain, why shadow work is backed by depth psychology, or what coherence between your heart and mind actually means scientifically, you're in the right place. We'll explore practices like breathwork, meditation, and emotional alchemy, not as abstract concepts, but as tangible tools grounded in both spiritual wisdom and scientific understanding. And here's where it gets even better. In our bonus episodes, you'll hear from real people sharing real stories. These are the warriors, the healers, the everyday seekers who've walked through their own darkness and found their light. They'll share their breakthroughs, their struggles, and the resources that actually helped them along the way. Because personal growth isn't a solo journey, and you deserve to know you're not alone. So whether you're just beginning to question the nature of reality, or you're deep in your spiritual practice, this podcast is your companion on the path. It's time to expand, to awaken, and to rise together. Let's begin. Today's guest could read a room's energy before she ever had language for what that meant, and spent years absorbing everyone else's emotional weight without knowing there was another way to hold space. Amanda started her career as a frontline counselor at 18, working with the clients other practitioners had already written off. She built an entire career on instinct before she ever found the words for what she was actually doing, until Reiki cracked it open in her mid-20s and gave her, in her words, a permission slip to finally understand herself. She now works as an energy healer and intuitive conduit, and this conversation gets refreshingly honest about what's actually missing from a lot of traditional therapy models, why so many people spend a decade in the same patterns without moving, and what it actually looks like to shift energy while someone talks instead of just listening. We also get into her own story, an abusive childhood, an undiagnosed CPTSD that a string of therapists somehow missed, and the moment at 21 she told a therapist twice her age to put the textbook down. All right, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. We have a wonderful guest today who's a good friend of mine. Her name is Amanda. She is a fellow counselor in a past life and energy healer in the current, rendition of this lifetime. And I'm really excited to share her with you guys. I'm so excited. How are you doing today, Amanda?
I'm doing awesome, Heather. Thanks so much for inviting me on here. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, awesome. So why don't you go ahead and get us started and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
All right. So I have felt different my whole life. Like I could always see, feel, and know beyond the five senses. I had nobody around me to tell me what that was. I basically spent my whole life just being different, being able to feel beyond, really highly intuitive. People comment on how I would shift the energy of the room just being in it. Little did I know that I was a little sponging everything because I was a high-level empath. No idea. None. Zero.
Funny how
I was always just that person that everybody was coming to and can shift things with ease while, because I didn't have the skills back then, kind of drowning myself in doing everything because I was using my own energy to hold space. I didn't know any better back then. I always knew that I was meant to help people. I always knew that it was just naturally who and what I was. So I fought the system, got into the college university program I wanted early. So I had a counseling, like a frontline counseling job at 18 years of age. So
Wow.
because I just knew what I was going to be doing. Like I was in school for 3 months and my first practicum I was in, and I got a job with my practicum like this.
Wow.
Like it was just nothing. And then I hit the ground running and everything else was on referrals. And I just always had the capacity to hold space for people that other people couldn't, people who have been in the field for 20, 30, 40 years. I chose to stay on the front line because I loved working with people in the trenches. I love working with people that everybody else had written off. I could just feel things. I was constantly in trouble as well because I could just naturally know what that specific person needed, because what helps one hinders another. And
Mhm.
I just innately always knew that when I was, when I was in the field and when I was working with people, and would show up for people with where they were energetically at. Did I use those words back then? Absolutely fucking not. It wasn't until my mid-20s, I think, when I really started to come into the universe kind of through some mentors in my path then. So I wasn't just like figuring it out as I went, not having any idea. So at that point, then I think it was Reiki was my gateway drug. I got connected with some people and I really started to understand who and what I was on that deeper level, and bringing that forward and being able, I rise, we rise, re-rise. Like the more I was figuring things out, the more I could help others in figuring it out for themselves, because there's so many insanely gifted people out there that have all of these labels stuck on their head, like depressed, anxious. Well, PTSD is a different one, but PTSD, ADHD, this, blah, 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 and are suppressed in their labels, where a lot of that is all these beautiful, amazing gifts and stuff trying to come through. They're trying to break free, like all of these different things. And I could see and feel that. But the more I was leveraging that energetically, the more I could help others while simultaneously helping myself, because I have danced with depression and anxiety my whole life.
Right.
So I was able to, because I was suppressing who and what I was without knowing that I was, because there was no mentors, there was nothing out there to show me. I was taking on all of this stuff and not understanding how to claim your grounded sovereignty, how to release this shit that comes onto us when we help others, right? How to not take it on, how to be a conduit, all of these different things that you learn once you're in the energy, once you're really, having a mentor and really shifting into things for yourself. They're a little distracting. We just have some hail, which is great. Cleansing energy. Yay. It's really loud up in here right now. So yeah, that was basically, and then I started to really feel like I did the certification stuff for a while, and then I kind of stopped in my tracks, because society programs us like,
Mhm.
get the degree, get the college degree, get the diploma, get the master's, get the PhD, get, this is where your worth is. So you go into the spiritual realm and it feels the same. You need this certificate, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. So I was doing that for a bit and I stopped myself. And like, wait a minute, all of these different amazing certifications are just beautiful energies and stuff that are channeled through a being, a human being that chose to channel, like that was able to tune in and channel this through and then teach it to others. So why do I need that third person?
Mhm.
Why can't I just tune into spirit? So I really worked on clearing out my channels, learning how to channel, learning how to sit with everything for myself and hold that space and be that for myself. So I was no longer dependent on everything else around me and chasing certifications, so that I can help others in doing the same, reclaiming that power. Because when I shifted from being a counselor and I left that behind, it was because I was sick and tired of seeing people that were being left dependent on a system that was continually failing them. I wanted to help people on a deeper level of being, and doing that by being the hybrid and bringing the energy healing into it. But not only having, it's like you're shifting then from having them dependent on a system to dependent on you. And I'm like, fuck no. I want people to claim their personal independence, their personal authority, and their personal grounded sovereignty within themselves, and help them to get there like I did. But let's short the path.
Mhm. Right.
Make it
We
easy for
want
them
to
to
try
be
to make
able
it
to.
easier for them so they don't have to go through all the same things that we went through. That's why we took
Exactly.
this. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I love doing, is help people bringing out those like deeper layers of healing, bringing out the empowerment out of the disempowerment. Like one of my favorite lines is no mud, no lotus. So how do we utilize that mud? How do we shift our perspective on what the mud is and see it as a nourishing thing and use it as a nourishing thing, and then get the hell out once we've grown, not stay in there.
Yeah.
right? It's like I love helping people come into those higher levels of frequency of beingness and igniting themselves into more so that they can ignite others into the same. And what that looks like changes with everybody,
Yeah.
depending on your personal path, where you're at. And that's what I love about it is it's always different. It's
Yes.
always different. It's always so expansive. It's very difficult to describe what I do and how I do it because it is constantly changing and evolving because I'm constantly changing and evolving and
Mhm.
I'm helping people change and evolve. So it's always taking on a different face and space and place. And it's amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah. Awesome. So let me start at the beginning of your story here because I we have a very similar path and background as far as growing up and then being in the counseling and psychology field. But I want to ask you, when you were growing up and you knew you were different, you were reading energies and all these things, shifting the energy in a room, what helped you kind of cope with that? And I know you said you were a sponge and you weren't really managing it well. I totally get that. I have a rough story as well, but what helped you kind of learn to get through that while you were going through all of this stuff when you were younger?
It was always nature. I was
Mhm.
also being raised in a very abusive household. Very, very blessed to have an amazing mother who did her best, but also being abused by my father. So I had that becoming and unbecoming to hold space for as well while I was going through everything. But nature was definitely my biggest companion, my friend, my release.
Yeah.
It charged me up. It was everything. Just being outside, being with the trees, being with the grass and animals. I've always just like that's what really helped me in clearing everything out and coming back to me is nature and animals.
Mhm. And so when you were doing the counseling, because you still hadn't really quite learned about the energy part of it yet, how were you managing? Because I know what it's like to work in that space, especially working with the people who everyone else kind of wrote off because those are really strong energies. Let's not beat around the bush here. So how did you kind of cope with working in that space without learning how to protect yourself and kind of let that energy flow rather than taking it all on?
Intuitively, breath and movement. Even back then, before I knew the power of nervous system regulation, like you talk about it a bit in school, it was intuitively ingrained in me. Like when you're feeling that, it's like stepping into the breath, like taking a dropping into breath, dropping into movement. And I would actually do it with my clients, like in the moment for the moment and teaching that embodiment through that. Hey, you're allowed to be frustrated right now. I'm frustrated too. I think we need to take three deep breaths. I'm going to do it too. Let's do it together. And humor was a big thing for me too. It's like bringing this in. I never put myself above anybody because when you're in the crux of it, you do not want, you're used to having people above you. So I put myself right there. It's like, yes, life can be crunchy sometimes. Let's sit in this. Let's breathe it out for a second. Oh, you're stuck. Okay, let's breathe together. Let's do it together. So you don't just have them breathing and you staring at them while you're doing it. Like, who wants that?
Buddy.
Gonna weird me out even to this day. If someone's like, here, you breathe and I'll stare at you. No. So I did a lot of just the embodiment practices before I even realized truly what they were.
Mhm.
Like those integration practices and those releasing practices, like, hey, let's stop, drop, and shake. Hey, let's dance it out for a second. I'm going to throw on a song. Let's do this. Hey,
Mhm.
let's drop into breath and just feel into where it feels stuck and shift it out. Didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I was just naturally dropping into that. And again, nature. I would like if I did a lot of the times you couldn't just take a break and fuck off. Like that wasn't a thing that you could do. But if you could, sometimes you could take a client, hey, let's go for a walk together.
Mhm.
And then you're doing mindfulness with them.
Mhm.
Okay, let's stand with this tree for a second. All right, let's just breathe in this air for a second. Hey, do you see those birds? Let's just watch the birds and dropping into the things together and
Mhm.
grounding together before I even realized exactly what I was doing.
So
It
how
just kind of,
yeah, that's amazing because I mean, I know I still do a lot of those things today. When I can tell I'm either picking up energy from the collective or I'm starting to like feel my mood shift, whether it's for whatever reason, I throw on my headphones and I have a 15-minute dance party and I put on some sweet jams that always put me in a good mood
yep,
and I just dance it out, dance it out,
exactly.
especially if I can't get outside. But so when you found Reiki, which you, I love that you call that your gateway drug. When you found Reiki, how did that change things for you?
It basically gave me, it was like a permission slip. But what I mean by that, it was like, that's not even the right word. It kind of was like this illuminating light of this is who and what you are. It's like, this is the energy that is so far beyond. Like, this is what you could always feel. This is what you innately knew, but you couldn't put words to. This is what you were standing in. This is what you were working with, but you didn't know.
Hmm.
It basically brought the deeper realization of what it was down to me. So then it's like, oh, this is what it is. This is how I can show up with it. This is how I can move it. This is how I protect myself. This is how I do that. So it was basically like putting things into words and then giving me a bit of the structure within it so that I could expand within that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. Reiki is not one of my modalities, but I've had Reiki sessions and I know how amazing they are. Do you, I'm going to kind of go off on a side note here because it's you don't have to go into detail about this. It's just for me. I just personally want to know. So I know some people who do Reiki where they like draw the symbols on their hands or whatever. Like they do the sacred geometry and the symbols, the Reiki symbols. Do you do that or do you just do the just straight energy? You just
No, not at this point. Way, way, way back. Yes. I was doing I was working more with the symbols. I do it way different now. So like I said, what I do right now has such a little very little with all of the different certifications on the wall that I have because now I'm a conduit for universal healing, high level frequencies. So when I'm bringing things through, the things that come through are often like as soon as I jump on a call with somebody, I am pulling up a grid around them and putting a grid in the entirety of their energetic beingness across any and all dimensions of time and space. And in this grid, there is sacred healing, sacred geometry, sacred healing symbols. So not just limited to Reiki, right? This is a tiny, tiny amount. I'm calling in any and all of the sacred healing symbols that want to come in, those energetic frequencies, calling in the sacred healing frequencies, all of them that needs to be pulled in for that specific person. So I usually just do this. So I'm trying to like articulate it. And I'm like, ooh, this is hard. This is something that I innately do just by
right.
holding space and it just drops in. And then also, so one of my gifts is I can pull in crystals from any and all dimensions of time and space, not just the earth dimension, but any and all dimensions of time and space. So then you've got crystalline grids that drop into your grid work as well. So at this point in the game, I don't use specific symbols. I am pulling in like light language. I use light language through sign
Hmm.
and through dancing. So when I dance, it also comes out as well, which is really cool and weird. Uh, really fun when you go to dance events and then people are
Yes.
looking at you like you have six heads because you're channeling just through movement.
Right.
How do
No,
you
I
get
get it.
trying?
Totally get it. Yeah.
That's super fun. But yeah, no, I don't do what I do is not structured. It's very, very dropped into the intuitive part
Mhm.
at this part in the game. I'm basically just opening myself up as a channel and then moving those energies to and through.
Yeah. No, I get that. And it's interesting because even when people ask me like how I do my, energy healing, it's like, how do you really put words to it? Especially after you've been doing it, because you're like, well, I kind of do this thing, but it's all intuitive and like I don't really use words. It's more of an intention
Yes.
and visualizations. And so yeah, it is hard to explain. So so
See, I even forgot those words and those
yeah.
words, that right there, like intuitive, it's intention and visualization. That's exactly what it is. And they're tripping on my tongue and forgot those words.
I mean, it happens. It's all good. So what trying to think of where to go next here. So, what do you do specifically like when when someone's like, okay, I want to work with Amanda, who do you typically work with? Because healing can be used for literally anything. So, who typically is aligned with you? Who do you usually work with, and what do you do for them?
That is somewhat I'm in the middle of a pivot right now, so I'm not 100% sure where it's going. I can feel energetically where some of it's going. I know where some of it's going is being a healer for healers. But the caveat with that is some people already identify with knowing. that they're already standing in that in some capacity, and some of them don't yet.
Mhm.
Some of them. So it's people that are basically ready, willing, and able to do the work. Most of the people I work with have already been showing up to the work, to the, that deep soul work, the shadow work, all of that, and already feel into some of their giftings, if not a lot of them, and want to bring more forward, bring through, do the deep recalibration, that deep reset, and that deep rebirthing. So what that looks like can look very, very different in people. But I've noticed lately there's been a shift to more, as much as I don't love even the label of healer, but you got to use some words to
Right.
explain things. But it's like, yeah, people who are in that flow is pretty much who I'm bringing through right now, or people who are that is on their path are also coming to me. Because of my background, I get a lot of people with some deep-seated trauma. Some of them have already shown up to a large amount of the work and they're doing the deeper layers right now, and some of them have not. Everyone's at different spaces and places within their path, but really holding space for that. Because of my background, there's very little that anybody can say that shocks me or that phases me. I
Yeah.
mean, you get it. I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
I get
It's
it.
just like,
I do.
okay, yeah, heard this and heard deviations of this. Okay, let's go. Let's hold space. Let's shift.
Yeah. Or I've been through it already, actually. So
Yeah, and
totally
myself.
get it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And it's funny because when we first started talking before I started recording, you even told me that you were in a pivot and that you weren't sure where this was going. And I keep getting poked and I keep getting nudged to ask you about it anyway. So take that for what it's worth. It might be worth thinking about and reflecting on that because they keep poking me to ask you about it. So there's something there.
There's absolutely something there. And I think too, sometimes it's just like articulating things brings the clarity through. It's like
Yes.
when you're not trying to think about it, when you're being asked about it, and you're like, okay, you're just showing up to it instead of seeking it.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
like, and
being
I get a lot of
passive.
people that say that too, like, oh, I'm looking and I'm looking for it, I'm looking for it. Well, sometimes this very thing we're looking for is the one thing we can't see. Like, how many of
Yeah.
us have been looking for a cell phone while we're talking on it?
Yep.
Like, it's up to your
Yeah.
ear, man.
Yeah. Or my glasses and they're on top of my
My
head.
glasses, yeah, they're on my face and
Yeah.
I'm looking for them. I don't know how many blank stares my partner has given me where I'm like, oh my God, do you know where my glasses are? It's like,
But that's the thing, like, and this is what I try to tell people a lot too, like, just even if you need to vent or a sounding board, like, I know that some people are terrible about asking for help and things like that, but I'm not here to solve all your problems. Sometimes it just takes saying
Mhm.
it out loud to process it while you're saying it, because there's a word that might come out or two dots that you connect, and you're like, oh, I think I figured it out. Sometimes that's all it takes. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Having a safe space held, I found is really big, and having a non-judgmental safe space held, because so many people have not had that.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many times I have just shown up and I emanate that safety. It's the space that I hold. And I work really hard on that. Like, that's really important to me for people to feel that non-judgmental, unconditional love held space. And then all of a sudden, sometimes just being held in that space. So being able to be witnessed and observed, you
Yeah.
can sometimes even watch people.
Mhm.
Like, I am throwing energy. Like I said, the minute somebody jumps on a call, I've already got them gridded. Like it happens within the first 30 seconds.
Mhm.
But yeah, I noticed exactly what you said. Like, a lot of it is just allowing people to kind of work through things and come to it on their own while you're holding that space. Cause I don't know how many times, and I've done it myself, where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that was
100%.
the elephant in the room that I
Yeah.
was actually throwing a doily on top of with a little flower thing, making it into something completely different. And it was
Yeah.
an elephant. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the one thing that I really like about coaching too. And I say the word coach just because there's a lack of a better term right now. Same with healer, but there's an art to coaching, and this is a hill that I will die on forever. There are skills that are required to be a coach, a good coach. And I went through a certification program. This was when I was doing my certification chasing too. We've all been there, but you have to, just like a healer holds a space for you to bring out your own inner healer and to let you work through things, just like it's like being a coach where you help people reach their own conclusions, where you hold that safe space, you let them process, you let them talk it out, you ask open-ended questions to try and maybe offer a different perspective to help them look at the bigger picture, but you're not telling people what to do. It's not like traditional therapy. It's not like having a mentor. It's not like a guru. It's not like anything like that. It's literally just holding that safe space to ask questions, to be like, okay, well, I'm going through this. Well, I went through something similar. Let me tell you what helped me, and you can take what resonates, or we can try to make it, your situation is obviously probably going to be different because we're all individuals, but like, let me tell you what didn't work for me. So you can, again, like we go through these things first so we can help people so they don't have to go through the same steps that we went through. And we can help them skip all of that messiness as much as we can and just help them kind of navigate that, trauma or confusion or whatever it is that they're going through. And that's one of the things that I love about what I do is when you're giving them that space, safe space, and they're processing through things, and you see the moment their eyes light up and they have that aha moment, and you're like, that right there is why I do this. That is why. Because it's amazing. Teaching sovereignty, like you said, that's all part of it. So yeah, that's amazing.
It's huge. And I have come across so many people on this part of my journey that have been through so many different therapists. I mean, shit, I have clients that are therapists, psychologists, naturopathic doctors, you fucking name it. Because what happens in the traditional side of that is there's a lot of like talk therapy. There's a lot of just holding space, but there's no room for the energetics of it.
Yeah.
So when people, the difference between like what tradition does versus what you and I do and people like us is not only are we holding that space, but we're also shifting the shit, the unseen shit, so that people can actually break through it, so they're not repeating that victim cycle. Because a lot of the traditional, and people will come at me for this and that's okay, but I saw so much in the field of people repeating the same patterns over and over because they're just talking and rotating. And you hear people being with like counselors, therapists, psychologists for like 10 plus fucking years and they haven't actually moved anything.
Yeah.
They're rotating on the same thing. And it's like I recently did a panel with a clinical psychologist, and she spoke to that. She's like, I don't want somebody dependent on me. She was a fusion like us, so she was still doing that while bringing in the energetics behind it. And she's like, if somebody is with me for 5, 10 years, like constantly still showing up weekly, what's happening that I'm not like, why are we not moving forward? It's like holding that energetic space and helping them shift out those, like removing those energetic anchors, removing those energetic cords, removing those vows and those oaths and those contracts and all of those shits. It's like those unseen things.
Yeah.
But a lot of the thing in the traditional field is keeping people in this dependency, right? And just rotating on the same thing instead of actually like, let's separate this from you, not give you more shit to identify with, which happens a lot. Like, oh, here's all these labels to make you feel worse about yourself. Instead of how can we find the empowerment from this, out of this really disempowering situation? How can we shift out of it? Not how can we turn it around in our hands and be more upset about it for eternity.
Yeah, I went through the same thing because I went through countless counselors and therapists and psychiatrists, psychologists myself, not even just being in the field, but even in my own personal life. And it's like I felt like, well, first of all, it took me forever to find one that I could connect with because I felt like I was just talking at them. And of course, every time you go to a counselor or a therapist or someone for the first time, you cry the whole time, right? Because you're getting things off your chest. There's a good venting for that. That does serve a purpose. But finding someone that you can connect with, finding someone that's actually going to listen and believe you. And then when you're sitting there and you see them, however often you see them, and you're talking about the same things, and they're asking you questions, and they're like, okay, well, try this medication or try this or try that. But nothing is getting solved. And for years going, I was like, I'm talking about the same things. Like, why are you just, and I felt like, yes, there is importance about being a safe space to talk about things. That is a big part of it. But I'm not here to just talk. I could talk to my mom. I could talk to my best friend. I could talk to whoever about it. They're giving me just as much as you are, except maybe they can't give me a prescription, which I don't want anyway. But so there has to be some sort of a resolution. There has to be some sort of guidance and solution, problem solving that goes with that safe space so that you don't keep patterns, because it gets frustrating. This is why I talk therapy has a place. And I know that there's part of my coaching sessions are like therapy, but the energetic aspect for all those unsaid things, unseen things, and on top of that, like This is why I specialize in inner child healing, because you have to get to the root cause of it. It's all just focusing
Absolutely.
on the surface symptoms, and you have to get to the root cause so that you understand why you're doing these things, where it came from, going back and healing that person, place, or thing or situation. And then
Yeah.
looking at it, then you have your perspective shift and you look at it from a different perspective. And then you're like, oh, it makes more sense now. Now I don't have to keep doing that because I've learned the lesson or whatever. And so, and then you take the energetics and you clear those soul contracts, you clear the cords, you get that stuck energy out. And then you have your integration period. And it's like, traditional therapy is only like a fraction of all of that. And that's why it doesn't work. It might work for some people, but how long did it take?
That exactly that. And I don't know, it's like, yeah, similar to you. Like I've had that journey, a personal journey with it, where I was going to counselors, psychologists. I was on medication for a while, numbed me out. It didn't do anything. But that's the thing, is like threw pills at me and then just, okay, now you're good. No, now I'm a zombie with the same fucking shit. So
Right.
now I just feel worse about myself. I'm just not, I just have no fucking affect and no ability to actually fucking even cry. So I have no ability to do my body's natural ways of releasing some of this energy because it's being stifled and no one's actually helping me. And then when I was going to a psychologist, I had none that were good. Like they were all very much what I saw a lot of people, the cracks that people fall through. And it was this creation. I mean, I was already in school at this time and I was already in the field when I was 21. I had already been in for a couple of years. And when I went to one at the request of my doctor, because I was still dancing with some depression anxiety. Again, I didn't know at that age the fact that I was still pulling in so many shit, right?
Mhm.
Very clearly, I had CPTSD. None of these fucking counselors figured this out. I think a blind person could have figured this out. So that's another issue that I had. I'm like, why wasn't anybody figuring out that I was a neurodivergent person with CPTSD? Instead, they were trying to put some really heavy hitting labels on that would have basically crushed me, right?
Right.
But I wasn't having any of it. I remember at 21, I was, like you said, I was being talked at. And
Mhm.
she was actually creating things. So it's like textbook, right? She's trying to create some stuff with blaming my mom for stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? And at one point, I remember saying, you can't mind fuck a mind fucker. Put your textbook down. And this person was 30 years my senior. And I'm like, put your textbook down and just speak to me for a second.
Yeah. Look at me like a
Listen for a
person.
second, because I wasn't even being listened to. I was just being talked at.
Yeah.
And she was going through, and she wasn't new in the field. She
Mhm.
had been there for quite some time. So it was just kind of like, wow, this is what it feels. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like that
Yeah.
in my space. I want to be able to hold a safe space, because there is, like you said, there is a lot of value in having a space to get the things out, right? And a lot of people are verbal processors. But while my clients are talking, and I know you do the same thing, I'm energetically shifting shit while they're talking.
Right.
So I'm not just sitting there with my thumb up my behind. I'm like, okay, you're talking, and we're not just letting this go on a physical level of speaking. We're shifting any and all of the energy, seen and unseen, known and unknown, conscious and subconscious, across any and all dimensions of time and space at the same time that you're releasing this stuff. Because the shit that we're going through in this life is not just attached to this life.
Right.
It's attached to ancestral shit. It's attached to past life shit. It's got so many different cords
Yeah.
that are coming out of it. So it's like when people are speaking to their known, it's like, with people like you and I, we can pull into it all of the different unknown and then shed that out. You
Hmm.
don't need to relive it all. You don't
Yeah.
need to talk about that horrible trauma that you had when you were 3, right? And the shit that went somatic, because anything before the age of 3, I believe, it's been a long time since I did any of the textbook shit, goes somatic on us, right? So it's just like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, those shoulder issues that you've been having were actually tied to this abuse, but we don't need to talk about the abuse in order to heal it, in order to shift this, in order to bring that forward and release that.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. All right, so why don't you tell us about what you're working on, your website, how people can get a hold of you, all the good stuff if they want to take advantage of your amazing energy healing service.
Woohoo! Kind of fun because I don't yet have a website, but I will by the time that this publishes, and it will be www.befiercelivefree.com. I've kept my, like, across any and all social media platforms I'm on, is always be fierce, live free. That's my tag. That's my tagline.
I love
If you
it.
look for be fierce, live free and see a crazy person making crazy faces, it is I. It is I. So that will be launched and ready by the time that this goes live. And what I am in the middle of releasing in quarter 2 here, so in the next 3 months, is my membership. And I'm so incredibly super duper duper excited for it. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like because it's still being birthed through, but it is going to be a space where you are going to be held, anchoring on all this amazing, awesome, badass energy and bringing forward and birthing through everything that you truly are. So I'm going to have, I don't know how many, but I'm going to have minimum 2. So bi-weekly healing sessions that are in there on lives where I show up. There's going to be a live for like Q&A. There's going to be access to me to ask questions within that space. There's going to be a library that I'm going to be building with different encoded activations, guided meditations, different resources like that. And the space that you can ask, like, I love it when people ask me different questions like, hey, what about this? Because I may be able to create a resource on that.
Yeah.
Because if you're wondering, somebody else is going to be wondering as well. So the resources will build and build and build and build and build exponentially and be available in there. Any different like courses and things that I run that are like lower ticket courses are going to be available in that membership. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about that. So that will be available. That information will be available on my website once it goes live. But if that's something that you're interested in ongoing support, that is something that I'm really psyched about. And I'm not sure what form it's going to take on because I always hold space for things to be what they are and to shift and to pivot and to grow and expand and contract as they will. But I'm really super excited about that. I do one-on-ones, like 30, 60, 90 minute, whatever it needs to be. I'm shifting from the one-offs more so. I will still always be offering those because sometimes that's what people need and they just need the one and they can run with scissors and that's beautiful. But I also offer longer term programs, which I absolutely love because that's like the month, 3 months, 6 months. Some people just want to go like, I don't know if I want 3 months. Can I just go month to month? Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. And I do them customizable too, because everybody has their own budgets. And I don't think we should be restricted based on our budget. So we can talk about what that looks like. Like instead of showing up together 4 times a week, maybe we can show up together 2 times a week. Or sorry, 4 times a month. We'll show up together 2 times a month. I'm like, oh, 4 times a week, that's a lot for anybody.
That's a lot.
No, we're not doing that 4 times a month. Instead, we can shift it to 2 times a month and we can shift things out and customize them based on somebody's budget or based on somebody's, it might not even be budget. It might just be like, oh, hey, I don't actually need weekly. I need bi-weekly. I would like this kind of support and this. So we can customize that together, but have a longer term space held.
That's awesome.
So that while you're working through the big shit, you've got somebody to help illuminate the path for you and shift the shit. I always tell people, help people shed their shit, ignite their light, and own they're awesome. So if you're looking to like really bring on the brilliance and you want to bypass all of your own inner bullshit and not need to like sit there and be in the trenches and stuck in the trenches, you still need to move to the trenches because I mean, that's where the brilliance is born, is from the trenches, but have somebody to, help you and guide you along that path. And I absolutely love to do that. And those are the different spaces that we can do that together in. And who knows, there might be more coming through because this is going to be a pretty that bucking testicle year where shit's just kind of coming through. And I don't even know anymore. Spirit just tells me like, this is going on. I'm like, all right, we're doing this.
Dude, it's like almost every day. I'm like, I connect. The veil is thinnest for me when I'm laying down to go to sleep because, you still your mind, you're in that space.
Yes.
And I'm like, I have insomnia. I'm just trying to go to sleep. And Spirit's like, nope, we're going to give you 8 new ideas for your business tomorrow. We're going to give you a collaboration idea. We're going to tell you, you need to go fix this thing that you already did. And you have to go talk to this person. And I'm like, well, you better hope. And then I remember all of this by tomorrow because I just want to go to sleep. But no, this year has been, and I had a channeled message that came through. It's on my YouTube channel at the end of last year. And it talked about this. It talked about spring, especially of this year. I think that they said the ideas are going to be springing out of the ground like the fresh blooms of the flowers, and people are going to have to learn how to keep up with it because there's going to be so much just going on. And I can already feel it. It's been going for quite some time now. And I'm keeping up the best I can.
Yeah, no, I totally. And the amount right now, the energy is like there's so much. I either call it breakdown to breakthrough or shakedown to shift up. And those energies that are moving through right now are like, yeah, it's like, oh my God, I don't even know. Is my head even on my shoulders? What's happening right now? Like there's
Yeah.
so much coming in at the same time going out because we
Yes.
need to shift out that shit in order to create space for this new stuff to come in. And it's amazing, but it's like, oh,
It's a
at
lot,
the same
but
time. And
I
yeah,
mean,
like you,
but
it's
this
like
is what
I'm
we've
kind
been
of
waiting
wait,
for,
why are
right?
we doing this right now?
Yeah. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been, preparing for. So hopefully we're all ready. Some beautiful
Yeah,
things can happen this year. 100%.
no, it is. I totally feel that too. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this chrysalis period to be done.
Yes.
Hot
Oh my
math
God.
magic breakdown.
I'm ready to be the butterfly. Let's go.
And that's the funny thing about life too, is I always say that. I'm like, oh, but there's been so many times where I've been the butterfly and then it just cycles back. It's like
Yeah.
the whole Phoenix. I'm on this Harry Potter kick right now. I'm watching the Phoenix and it's like Phoenix grows old, dies, rises from the ashes. Phoenix grows old, dies, rises from the ashes. I'm like, oh my God, the rebirth. And
Yes.
it's so beautiful each and every time. It's like becoming that butterfly and then suddenly like going back to the caterpillar phase and then shifting through consistently. And it's like it's exhausting and exhilarating in the same sentence.
Yeah. And I don't think it ever ends either, but that's fine.
No, I don't. No, unfortunately not.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a wonderful experience to talk to you, and I'm so glad that you finally got to be here to talk to me and my audience.
I'm so, again, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everybody, and especially you, Heather.
No,
Super appreciate you. And yeah, appreciate the opportunity.
awesome. If this conversation sparked something in you, I want you to know that spark is your soul talking. Come find me at divineascensionco.com. There's a whole new home there waiting for you. Services, resources, and a community of people who are done playing small and ready to remember who they actually are. I'll see you there. Until next time, keep ascending.